Whew. What's up, guys? Combat Addict here. We got like two things to talk about today. Not much. I guess we'll start with fuck it. We got actually three things to talk about. One of the things is completely unrelated, so I'll just start with that one. I love art. It's so dark in this fucking room. I love art and I love movies and stuff. I like books. Man, yo, video games are art too, I guess, and I kind of like those. Man, the last like 3 days or like a week, I've been finishing up like different sets of art. Like I'm coming to the end of this book called Train Spotting. I finished an anime called Death Parade. I finished a video game called Limbo. All of these things I finished like in the same fucking week. No lie. Like I've got like 20 pages of that book left. Death Parade's done. Limbo's done. And I'm noticing that like all of the stuff that I'm into is really fucking dark and so sad, man. It's so fucking sad. This book, Train Spotting, is fucking amazing. If you guys have not heard of it or read it, it's a Scottish novel and it details the lives of young drug addicts, heroin addicts, through short stories, and it's fucking awesome. I love it, but it is so fucking sad, man. Like the way that these books and these movies and shit turn out, man, it's always so fucking depressingly sad. And I'm always like, I want to cry. I mean, I don't usually cry. I don't. I can't remember the last time a piece of art made me cry. But I want to. I'm like, oh my god, like I feel it in my soul. You know what I mean? And that I guess is just a nice segue for the point that I was gonna make. Is that when I do watch things like this that are really really sad, I find that there are moments where somebody is like, I don't know, crying or something, and they're like really, really emotional and passionate, and it's really, really believable. And you should be sad in that moment, and I am sad, but I find myself trying to, I mean, not really trying to, but I find like a very subtle smile cuts across my face when there's some sort of tragedy or something terrible is happening or has happened and the actors are portraying it well. And for, a part of me was like, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are you getting off on this like terrible thing that's happening to the people in these scenes? And then I guess I came to terms with the fact that I suppose I just sort of enjoy the effectiveness of the actors. Like for me, when I watch films, for whatever reason, there's always a part of me that's not really in the film, but that is watching a film. So when somebody acts something out really well, I'm always like, fuck yeah, that was sweet, dude, like in my mind. So I find myself like smirking at these scenes sometimes, and it's not that I'm like a sociopath and I like to see people miserable, but it has something to do with just witnessing wonderful art and really appreciating that. You know what I mean? I came up with a term the other day. It was, I like it when my art hurts, or I like it when my art hurts me. I like it when something is just so tragic that my soul feels like it's just being eaten alive while I'm watching this thing, and the fact that these actors and the director can produce that effect on me is really sort of amazing, because the truth of the matter is those are emotions that you don't really ever want to experience in your life for real, but being able to experience them through film or writing or otherwise, music or otherwise, is sort of a great experience, because it sort of, I mean, to me, it allows it allows me to tap into emotions that otherwise I don't really tap into. So um yeah, man, I really do appreciate art for that reason. So I don't know what I mean it. If anybody's watching this, what do you think about that? You know what I mean? Like how do you feel about art that evokes those kinds of emotions out of you? You know, when you watch a movie or read a book or something, and you feel like you want to cry, or you feel the despair in what you're witnessing. Do you like that? Are you the kind of person that's into things like that? You know, yes and no, and why? Why are you into those types of things? So, yeah, man, there's that. And then this is something that I've already talked about before, but it just blows my fucking mind. I got to talk about it more all the time. Um, so I don't know if I had brought this point up before, but I had talked about how much power women have, like the insane amount of power that they have. That it's not even fair, like how powerful women are when you think about it. And I finally have like a really good example of what I'm talking about. So I watched this video. I guess I should probably link to it in the description of this guy talking about OnlyFans people, mainly girls, and their followers, their simp fan base. He didn't call them simps the entire time. He did in the beginning though, and the video was basically just sort of him interviewing individuals who are on OnlyFans and who are subscribed to individuals who are on OnlyFans, and sort of just getting their take on the whole thing, because I suppose there's this idea, this stigma that we all have, that OnlyFans is just for a bunch of thoughty chicks who want to make a bit of extra money by showing everybody their fur burger, and people who pay them to do this are fucking stupid because there's porn all over the internet for free. But the video kind of went deeper into it and sort of teased out the reasons why they might be into stuff like this. For example, like, well, maybe they are lonely and OnlyFans is a good outlet for them because it allows for a more personal interaction. I cannot speak with Riley Reid, unfortunately, but if I have an OnlyFans girl who I pay, she will talk to me sometimes or respond to the things that I say. I don't really see the appeal of this, in that, like, if you're really lonely and like you want somebody to talk to, you could probably just, like, I mean, unless you're like me and you like literally cut every human being off and don't socialize with anyone. But even me, I still have like 3 people that I do text, and one of them at this point is my mother. So, but yeah, if you really like have like literally no human beings in your life at fucking all, and you want to talk to somebody, man, like you could probably just like just get some social media, add some people that you know. You don't even have to fucking talk to them. They'll let you add them or whatever. And then just like, I don't know, pick somebody at random from their friends list and just be like, hey, what's up? Do you want to have a conversation? Like, if that's really what you want, I would imagine you could just do that. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, you feel like you need to pay somebody for this. Anyways, I'm sounding like an asshole now. He didn't make any of these points that I'm making right now. But what I'm saying is, I don't really understand that rationale completely, outside of also the sexual gratification that you get from talking to this person who you know you've seen naked. Like, I think that it's more than just like, oh, I'm lonely. It's got something to do with like, oh, I feel like I'm in a sexual relationship with you almost because I've seen you naked and I can talk to you. That's probably more of what it is, rather than just being like, oh, I'm lonely. It's like, nah, man, you're not just lonely. Like, you want to fuck somebody, you want to like be wanted by somebody, and this is the closest you can get to that, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying that like that's what it is. I don't think you're just lonely, because if you were just lonely, like, you could deal with that in other ways that don't even require you to spend any money, but you've decided to do that. So anyways, these girls on OnlyFans, like, they're talking about like, and the girl that I saw wasn't even like that hot. Like, I mean, I couldn't see her body or whatever, but she just looked like a regular ass girl to me. And she was like, yeah, I make like $4,000 a month. I was like, are you fucking kidding? Wait, you make $4,000 a month? You mean to tell me, like, you guys gotta understand, like, a year of university tuition for me was like $7,000 at most. So if this girl can make $4,000 in like 2 months, okay, give her a fucking year of OnlyFans and she's literally paid for a degree. A fucking degree. Like, an entire degree. Doesn't need any government grants or benefits or anything. She's got a degree in her back pocket just showing her pussy to the world for 1 year. Obviously, there are some, like, drawbacks. Like, maybe it'll be hard to get a job if everybody knows that you've done this. But to be honest with you, how many OnlyFans girls do you guys know? Because I don't know any, and it's probably because I'm not on OnlyFans, and I doubt your employers are going to be either. So to be honest, OnlyFans is like, it's almost like the best option if you want to do sex work and not be seen by employers or something like that. Seen by people in your neighborhood, seen by other young people on the internet, like, probably that's not going to be avoidable. But in terms of, like, just being viral as an OnlyFans girl, that's really not possible unless somebody is paying for your OnlyFans, and in that case, like, I doubt they're your employer. So anyways, these girls are making like shit tons of money, and they can do this pretty much when they turn 18. And my whole thing was just like, okay, so in the event that we completely remove the stigma from sexuality and sex work and stop shaming people for stuff like this, you realize that, like, women are going to have an almost insurmountable advantage over men. Like, attractive women at the very least. And the thing is, like, women don't even have to be that attractive. I guarantee you, if you take a 6 and put her on an OnlyFans, there are going to be guys who pay to see her diddle with her pussy. It's just like, it's just the way guys are, man. We really don't have many options after a certain point. Like, we'll do pretty much anything. So, or, I mean, depending on the kind of guy you are. I won't do anything, but a lot of guys will. So, my whole point is that these girls basically are going to be in a situation where I come out of university with $17,000 of debt, and they come out of university on a profit. Do you understand what I'm saying? And in the, like, grand scheme of things, like buying a house, for example, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, investing their funds, like, they're gonna be way ahead of us if the current climate changes so that everybody's just fine with sex work. And that's actually one of the reasons I think that sex work is shamed the way that it is. I actually think that if sex work wasn't looked down upon, that we would all just do sex work. Not all of us, but, like, a lot of us would just do sex work. Because, like, anybody who was, like, lazy and didn't really want to have to do anything with their life would probably just do sex work. Because it's like, you'd get paid a lot. And there's no downside, really. All you have to do is fuck people all day. And if you've got a big dick or a nice body or whatever, and you don't give a shit, like, why wouldn't you do that? You know what I mean? I wouldn't really do sex work, I think, just because, like, I would, like, honestly, man, I just feel like that is such a... It's not because I look down on sex workers either. It's more just like, Jesus, do I really want to spend all of my time fucking another human being? That is, like, the most... That sounds so exhausting. You have no idea. That sounds so, like... I'm just like, why? I feel like my brain would just feel like soup after a while. Like, you know when you, like, nut, like, more than once, and you can feel your brain just, like, slowly shutting down? That's what I feel like you'd feel like just all the time. And I'm just like, I don't want that. I don't want that, man. I don't know. I wouldn't do that. I think it'd be cool to, like, fuck a porn star, but I don't think that would be... I just feel like that would just not even be that fun after a while. I feel like you'd just be doing it to like live after a certain point, and if that's the case, like why sex work? That's my personal opinion. But I know that there's a lot of people out there who'd probably do it. Who'd probably do it and they'd love it. You know what I mean? But my point is like, women would have it like almost an infinite advantage at that point. Women are attractive to everyone, including women. Women who aren't even gay. That is how attractive women are, man. They're voluptuous. Like, they just look beautiful. Even when they have sex, they just look way more elegant than men do. And there are more people who are willing to pay to see women do things than you pay to see men do things. And so my point is basically just like, these girls who have these OnlyFans accounts, in the event that OnlyFans and things like it become acceptable in the next 20 years and do not have anything to do with whether or not you will be able to hold down a job or be treated differently, women are going to take over. They're going to take over all of the positions. They're going to take over like all of the businesses. They're just going to have an unreasonable amount of capital over us at a much earlier time. Because from ask yourself, if I was a woman, I'm 23, right? I'm a woman, okay? I do OnlyFans from the time I'm 18 to the time I'm 23. How much money do I have? Like, a stupid amount of money. And apparently it's more lucrative than camming. And camming, as I understand it, is more lucrative than just going straight into pornography as a girl starting out. You only really make a lot of money in porn, like as a girl, if you're having sex all the fucking time, which is not healthy for you, or if you're like a star. So OnlyFans is like the next level of camming, which was already lucrative, and it takes way less time. And it's basically, from what I understand, what OnlyFans is, from what I've seen, not like going on there and subscribing, but from just looking at what they have available to free viewers, it looks like it's just like somebody's own personal Pornhub. Like, once somebody sets up an OnlyFans, it's almost like it's just residual income. It's like they could post like, I don't know, 10 videos. It's like YouTube in a sense, that you could post like 10 videos in October, and then those 10 videos get like 300,000 views the next January. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that, and it's like, dude, that is crazy lucrative. That's like, and it's your OnlyFans, it's your content. If anybody puts it anywhere, you can shut it down. That's an incredible amount of power and freedom that you have. So, yeah, man. It's just I feel like I'm just telling you right now, and I don't know who's gonna see this in the future, but I'm telling you right now, I'm predicting that women are really gonna run shit very soon. Like, in the next like couple decades, we are really gonna see women take positions of power in more than one way, not just like politically and in the public sphere, but in the private sector and other businesses. We're just going to see women's standard of living is just going to go up. Like, if you're a woman, life is just going to be better for you, and it doesn't mean it's going to be shitty for everybody else, but it does mean that life is going to be better for you. So you heard it here first, man. I said that shit, so I bet you it's going to fucking happen. But anyways, back to these OnlyFans guys. I think it's really weird that you'd be willing to pay for an OnlyFans. Honestly, at that point, like, instead of paying for a year membership of OnlyFans, why not just like every once in a while get an escort? That's just kind of how I see it. Like, in my mind, I just think to myself, like, I bet you, first off, like, once you actually did that, you'd probably get more confidence when it came to women, in the sense that, like, you'd have some experience. That's the first thing. The second thing is, like, you're kind of paying this girl to not do anything but text you, and that just seems dumb to me. Like, it just seems to me that if what you really want is to not to be lonely, but also sexual gratification, every couple months you could just like pay someone to have sex with you and then just like talk to other human beings, and that deals with the loneliness and the sexual frustration all at the same time. And don't go out in the street and get like a cheap $20 hooker or something like that. Like, get an actual proper escort for like, I don't know, a couple $100s or something. Don't do it all the time, but like if you're that desperate, my point is just like to subscribe to OnlyFans. It just seems to me that you're sort of just delaying the problem of not having any sexual gratification in your life. You know what I mean? And here's the thing, like where I live, it's legal. It's legal to prostitution is legal where I'm from. So as far as I'm concerned, it makes more sense to do that, especially when you consider the fact that there are grown-ass men who go to the strip club and throw money at women who they don't even actually touch. Like, they literally have rules in strip clubs. They're like, no touching. You can throw money at me, but like, don't touch me. And that makes no sense to me. I was thinking about this. Like, a lot of people would say, you like, they'll look down on you if you went and got an escort or something like that. But that never made any sense to me. Because for some reason, it's like really, really manly to throw money at a woman who you're not going to have sex with in a strip club. But it's not manly at all to pay a woman less money to actually have sex with you. Doesn't make any sense, man. It makes no sense at all. You probably waste more money and also don't get any sexual gratification out of going to the strip club and just throwing money at broads. But you definitely do from like getting a clean escort and just making use of the service. Now, people look down on this. They're like, it's oh my god, that's taboo, it's bad. But it really doesn't make any sense to me, because the truth of the matter is, and I don't think we really think about this, there are individuals out there who aren't capable of just having sex. Like, people who are paralyzed, people who are maybe deformed, people who maybe are, you know, extremely autistic socially, you know what I mean? Like, they can't interact with other human beings, making it sort of like impossible for them to really bed somebody. And sex, I would argue, is a need. Like, you need to have sex, you know what I mean? It's a biological drive. It's like eating, you know what I mean? Like, you can't look at it like it's this thing that's superfluous and we shouldn't talk about it, you know? You shouldn't feel bad about wanting to have sex, and you shouldn't feel bad about making use of a service that is legal, that exists for the purpose of satisfying a need that you literally have at the present moment. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this was the example. Not everybody can cook. Some people can cook better than others. Not everybody can cook well. If you love escargot and you crave escargot, right? But you can't really cook escargot, are you really never going to eat escargot because you can't cook it yourself? No, you're going to go to a restaurant. There's going to be a professional chef there. He's going to make the escargot and you're going to eat it and you're going to be happy. You're not going to feel bad because you didn't get the escargot yourself. It's the same thing with sex. It's like, we have this idea that because you didn't get the sex yourself and you had to pay for it, that something's wrong with you, or that something's wrong, or that you shouldn't have done that. No, dude, it's a service. You have a need. You fulfill that need with the service. The only thing about escorts that's like kind of sketchy is the possibility of getting an STI. But if you're going about it properly and using like a hygienic and professional escort, it shouldn't be a problem. You know what I'm saying? And don't use an escort every day. Don't use an escort every 3 days. That's just stupid. But like, I mean, like, you'll lose your house that way. You know what I mean? That's like a lot of money. But if you're really deprived, like, and I'm talking like super deprived, like if you haven't had sex in a year, you haven't had a sex in like 2 years, you're a grown ass man or a grown woman or whatever, and you just want to have sex, but you can't have sex for whatever reason. Like, you just can't work up the confidence to go out. Or when you do go out, you can never pull. You've tried again, tried. Man, it's okay if you're just like, you know what? I just need to get my rocks off one time. Okay? Like, it's fine. You don't need to feel bad about that. And I think it's ridiculous that people do. I've never used one, but I don't see the problem with using one. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me that you shouldn't be able to make use of that service. So, that's what I want to say about that. You know, for some reason it's okay to pay a girl $10 a month to look at her pussy, but as soon as you pay her to get inside of it, there's something wrong with that. Doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, if you break it down logically, the only way that would make sense is if you were scared of STIs or something like that. And if you're using protection at that point, then it's got nothing to do with what's right or what's wrong. It really just has everything to do with what the person is willing to risk. This is my point. Next thing, man. I had the craving to get some junk food today. For those of you who don't know what I do, so basically usually my routine is like pretty simple. Basically what I do is during the week I just eat like regular food, man. I'm just eating like rice, chicken, fish, vegetables, fruits, grains, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Some oatmeal in the mornings. I'm eating like healthy, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'll eat kind of like a crappy lunch. Like, I'll buy chicken burgers or whatever, and I'll eat those on lunch or something like that, and then put some hash browns beside it, and that's not even bad, you know what I mean? Like, the chicken burgers, that's kind of like, I feel like it's processed food, so it's probably bad for you, and it could probably cause cancer if you're not careful, you know what I'm saying? But the hash browns are it's just potatoes, right? So I eat well like 5 days out of the week. And then from like Friday evening to about Sunday evening, that time frame, that's the time frame that I'm allowed to buy like chips and chocolate and Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I'm allowed to eat like a fucking asshole for 2 days out of my week. And it works for me. I fucking like it. I love it because it's always done by Sunday. It's usually always done by Sunday. And I've got it out of my system, and then I just eat like a regular person for the next 5 days, and then and I say 5 days because technically it's like for the first half of Friday I'm not eating bad, and for the last half of Sunday I'm not eating bad. So I say it's kind of like 2 days. It's like really 48 hours of time if you think about it, and then fucking Friday night comes around, I finish my shift, and I go to the store and I get whatever I want to get again. You know what I mean? I don't always get the same thing, but that's kind of how I do it. I don't eat shit during the week. And I don't know how many of you out there struggle with what you eat. I find that the thing that I used to do was like I just never ate that shit ever at all. So I would never eat chocolate. I would never eat like a donut. Like, if I ate a donut, it wasn't like I ate it, one time out of the week. I would eat it like once every month. I'd have a donut. You know what I mean? I was that kind of guy. Like, I was really fucking healthy. Like, if I was going to eat something, it was going to be good for me. And so, which isn't a bad way to live, because after a while, you don't even really crave sugary things. Or like really, really fatty things. After a while, you don't even crave that shit, which is cool. But what I kind of figured out once I started eating that stuff again was that you're also just depriving yourself of something pretty enjoyable for no reason. A lot of the problems that we have with anything that's like feels good, that gives you some sort of dopamine hit, is that we just overindulge. That's the problem. The problem is not the thing. I know this because I smoked way too much marijuana when I was younger. I literally quit, like, I think it'll be how many years ago would it be? I think it'll be 3 years ago come September. 3 years clean, no marijuana. And so like 2.5 at this point, right? Something like that. A little bit more than 2.5. Anyways. Or no, because it's the 5th month right now. And when it's the 9th month. Yeah, it's like 2 years and 8 months, right? Yeah. 2 years and 8 months. Okay. So basically what I was trying to say is that if I had just smoked weed like a responsible human being, like a reasonable adult, I could still smoke it today and really enjoy it. And I wish I did that because I actually really like marijuana. I think marijuana is fucking great. I think that if you use it correctly, it's probably... I actually believe that it is the best substance. It is the number one substance. It's like, when you use marijuana correctly, there is no substance that is better than it. It's number one. The problem with marijuana and other substances alike is that if you use any of them too much, they all have their drawbacks. And marijuana's drawback for me was exasperated like mental illness. You know, it really messed with my head, and to this day, man, I'm not fully recovered from it at all. I'm still messed up because of the thing and what it did to my brain. So I mean, that kind of sucks because, like I said, I really like it. Like, I'll tell you right now, I used to get sick of being high, but that was because at the time I was just being high all the time so much, and I was just so addicted to it and dependent on it because, like, I guess I was just miserable or depressed or bored on the inside, and I didn't have anyone else or anything else, and I didn't feel fulfilled, and I had lost my identity because I wasn't playing sports anymore and all kinds of crazy shit. And the point was, I was just smoking weed way too much. Way too much. I think that at some point I was smoking it every day. Must have been. Honestly, like, it's hard to really remember, like, what it was like to be smoking weed at that time. All I really know is that I must have been smoking weed every day at some point. Either way, man, it was just too much, and I was just too high all the time, and I just did dumb things. And that resulted in me not being able to enjoy it now. And I think that that is what we do with pretty much everything, and junk food is one of those things. So, for me, what I ended up doing with marijuana was I just cut it off completely. But because I cut marijuana off completely, it was like everything that had a hold on me, I also cut off completely. You know what I mean? I stopped drinking, even though I'm not really much of a drinker anyways, but I cut sugar out completely because I just couldn't control myself. If there were like 2-bite brownies in my house, there was just no fucking way that they would last more than a week. I would just eat all of them because they were so good and I love them so much. So I just got rid of it completely. But when I did that, I guess I sort of like rewired my brain so that the next time I was given a 2-bite brownie, months later, I couldn't even finish it. Like, I would eat like 1 or 2 2-bite brownies, and that was it. I was toast. I was like, nope, that's more sugar than I need. It was only when this lockdown started, and I was just so bored, and I was watching movies, and I just needed something to snack on, that I was like, okay, fuck this. I'm gonna go get some fucking potato chips. It was only then that I sort of started to realize, like, oh, you know what? Like, I actually really enjoy these chips. This is, like, a really, really affordable, enjoyable snack. I'm having a good time with it. You know what I mean? I'm not just, like, eating my feelings away necessarily. I mean, there's always a little bit of that. But then there's also the part of you that's just, you know, having a good time. And so I was thinking to myself, okay, well, maybe I've been doing this wrong, you know what I mean? And so cutting it out completely could have just been sort of like an overreaction. Maybe I just needed to get rid of it for a while and then come back to it. And that's what I did, man. I just started sort of doing it on the weekends, and it's been working so far. And I had chocolate covered almonds for the first time in, I honestly think, years, last week. And for the first time since I started doing this, I got a craving for something sweet on a Thursday, which is today. And this is why I stopped eating that stuff in the first place. Because the more you eat it, the more cravings you're gonna get, and the more strong those cravings are gonna be, right? Fortunately, I don't have any chocolate or anything like that in my house. Fortunately, I have like a pretty decent amount of self-control, so I'm not gonna go get it now, because I'm like, no, if you do that, what's gonna start happening is, oh, I'll just get it on Thursday, it's no big deal. Oh, I'll just get it on Wednesday, it's no big deal either. And before you know it, you're just buying, junk food all the time. What I'm figuring out is that you sort of gotta quarantine the junk food, and that way you can limit the amount of it that you take in. And if you can do that, then you're essentially going to burn off any weight that you would have gained from that junk food on the, Friday to Saturday to Sunday period. You're gonna burn it all off Monday to Friday. If you can't burn it off Monday to Friday and you're eating like good food in between that, I just don't understand. Like, you must have a thyroid issue. So yeah, man, I don't know if that's gonna help anybody, but that's kind of how I'm figuring out how I can like have the best of both worlds. Just quarantine it. Just choose a time during the week and be like, this is when I can eat like this. It doesn't mean you have to eat like that. If you just feel like, oh, I don't want to eat like that right now, you know what I mean? You can push it. If you feel like, okay, well, I don't want to eat anything on this Friday or whatever, and Saturday comes around and you want to eat, a little junky, then do that. But basically just try to make it so that like Monday through Friday or whenever you want to make it, you just don't eat anything like that. And that way it's like, man, whatever you eat on those 2 days it's going to be inconsequential to your health. So yeah, man, that's like just something that I'm trying that's working for me. So, but it's Friday tomorrow, so I'm probably gonna go to the bulk barn and get some chocolate covered almonds or something. And if it's closed by the time I get there, then I guess I'm just waiting until Saturday at that point, right? Because the chocolate covered almonds that I got last week from the grocery store were ass, man. Those things were fucking shitty. I fucking hated those. I hated those, man. Alright, but anyways, man, that's all I got to say. I'm fucking tired now. I don't even know. I think I talked myself out. Like, my fucking head hurts. That's how much I just talked. So yeah, bro. Fucking be you. Do your thing, bro. Be live. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Alright, later, guys.